You're with the buck stops here. On a day, 25 CRPF men have been killed in an ambush in Sukma in Chhattisgarh, the highest casualties in a Naxal attack since the Modi government took over. The Prime Minister called the attack cowardly and deplorable and said the sacrifice of the martyrs would not go in vain. The Jawans were ambushed while sanitizing an area for workers building a road, and survivors said an estimated 300 Naxals, helped by local villagers, surrounded them. They were completely outnumbered. Less than a month ago, 11 CRPF Jawans were killed in the same area. We asked tonight, as Red Terror returns with a vengeance, is it time to give forces a free hand?
नक्सलियों ने पहले गांव वालों को भेजा हमारी लोकेशन चेक करने के लिए, तो गांव वालों के हाथ में हथियार नहीं, हम गोली कैसे मारे उनको। बाकी उनके बाद में नक्सलियों ने लगभग 300 स्ट्रेंथ थी नक्सलियों की, मिलिट्री दल की, ब्लैक यूनिफॉर्म में थे सभी। उन्होंने हमारे पास आधाधुंध फायर किया, फिर हमने उनको जवाबी कार्रवाई किया। नक्सली हमने भी बहुत मारे। रॉकेट लॉन्चर फेंके उन्होंने हमारे ऊपर, जवान घायल है रॉकेट लॉन्चर, जो कि यूविजल होता है, अंडर बैरल ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर, वो भी हमारे ऊपर मारे। हमने भी उनको बहुत मारा है।
जो भी घटना हुई है बहुत ही दुखद है जी, दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है जी। और मैंने अपने गृह राज्य मंत्री हंसराज अहिर को यह कहा है तुरंत वहां पर पहुंचने के लिए, और वहां पर वो पहुंचेंगे। और कल किसी समय मैं भी रायपुर जल्दी से जल्दी पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं। डॉक्टर रमन सिंह जी से भी, मैं वहां के मुख्यमंत्री जी से भी बात करने की मैं कोशिश कर रहा था, लेकिन शायद दिल्ली से वो प्लेन में रास्ते में अब जाकर तुरंत मैं उनसे भी मैं बातचीत।
All right, that was Home Minister Rajnath Singh there, responding just a short while earlier. We're joined on the program now by former DG CRPF Dilip Trivedi. Thank you for speaking with us on NDTV. Mr. Trivedi, does this now have to be seen as a war against Maoists? Is it time to give our forces a free hand?
Yes, definitely it is time to give them a free hand. But more than the free hand, we must realize that we need to activate the local police, because that component of the local police who need to fight against this terror seems to be missing. And CRPF is more like a strike force because they come from outside. They should complement the local police in their operations rather than putting the CRPF on routine duties like it has been done here. This road that we are talking about, which is being built, on which they were ambushed, this road work has been going on now for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And for the CRPF is continuously doing its duty in making sure that the road is constructed. Now, if you are going to put them in such predictable duties, such exposed duties, and such duties where the opposite side is totally able to understand their movements, then you are putting them in jeopardy.
All right, we're also at this point being joined by Durga Prasad, the immediate former DG CRPF, and GVL Narasimha Rao from the BJP. I'm going to take this point across to Mr. Durga Prasad first. Mr. Trivedi here saying the state police seem to take a back seat every time the CRPF is there. Central paramilitary forces already perhaps over-deployed, as it were, are pushed to the fore. Do you see that as a primary problem? Because at this point, perhaps a hard analysis is needed as to why the Maoists could have struck in such an emphatic manner.
As Mr. Trivedi has mentioned to you, it's the predictability of their movement. Now, whether it is state police or the CRPF, if the predictability of the movement remains the case. Because as he rightly again pointed out, this road work has been going on for 5 years. Now, is it not time that we look at technologies where you complete a road within a span of 6 months to 8 months? World over, if it can be done, why can't it be done here? Is it not time for us to bring in these new technologies and complete the work faster so that this predictability aspect is reduced? As far as the state police is concerned, I mean, whether it is in Andhra Pradesh or any other places where it has been addressed effectively, the role of state police cannot be underplayed. They have to do a lot of role in cutting down the militants, their network, sympathizers, their network, etc. While the major operational work has to be the assistance of trained forces or highly trained forces is required. So one or two things is that, one, the state police role is there extremely, particularly when it comes to the the way they have to control the militant network and the sympathizer network, and where the routine jobs are coming in like this. I mean, actually CRP has taken a concentration to support the state government administration in the formation of the roads. However, having said that, it doesn't mean that we'll have to be deployed there for years and years. We should complete this work very fast. That can only happen when new technologies are brought in, even if it means they are more expensive than the existing methods of road laying.
All right, we're also being joined at this point by Ian Rammohan, former DG of the BSF, but he's also someone who authored the Rammohan Committee report after the worst Naxal attack of all time in 2010, in which 76 people, Jawans, were killed in Dantewada in Chhattisgarh. Mr. Rammohan, you had cited several instances at the time to explain the worst ever Naxal attack on the CRPF. Have no lessons been learned?
Sorry. That report which I had submitted to the government, I had explained everything where the failure had taken place in fieldcraft and in tactics. Now, they have obviously learned their lessons. But I would like to tell you something, that in any insurgency, you have to ask, why are civilian people taking to the gun? I have been repeating this for the last so many years. I have published papers, I have come on TV, but there is no response from the government. Go back to the 5th schedule of the Constitution. It says that it is the governor who will administer the scheduled areas of a state, which means the chief minister and his council of ministers has no role. Now, when the governor administers the scheduled areas of the state, how does he administer it? He administers by appointing a panchayat from among the tribals living in that particular area.
So your point, sir, is that this is a political failure, a leadership crisis, rather than
what is to be done in that area.
Okay. All right.
Pardon, tell me.
Okay, I'm going to take this across to GVL Narasimha Rao, joining us from the BJP tonight. Mr. Ian Rammohan, who has authored that report after the worst attack in Chhattisgarh, in which 76 Jawans died, clearly sees this as something that goes beyond just a matter of procedure, a matter of training or new technology, as we've heard from the other former DGs of the CRPF. GVL Narasimha Rao, he's talking about this in terms of a leadership failure, a political failure of not being able to engage with people who are taking up the gun. Do you agree that this is a good assessment of the reality on the ground that we are seeing now? After all, you know, whether it's Kashmir or Maoists, the internal security record of this government is now being called into question.
I think it will be very wrong to really compare the two situations, in Kashmir and Chhattisgarh. And particularly, I think Naxals may have sympathizers even among security forces, but the reality is, but Naxals, they are certainly anti-national elements. Nobody in a democracy has a right to take violence as a means of their achieving their ends. So certainly, and the most affected people are the same poor people whom they claim to defend. So I think it's nothing but it's a fallacy to assume that these people are there because they are fighting for a cause. The reality is they are anti-social elements and they have to be dealt with accordingly. And anyone who has any romanticized understanding of these issues, anyone who wants to look at kind of a negotiated solutions with them, I have my own doubts about it.